السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يات جاي الشيخ شفنا الأولى إيش تبوك يات مدينة منورة الدرميان. مدينة منورة بتش تقريبا 3-5 كيلومتر دور. إيش سوي جاي يات مدرك مشهور شكل قوم السمود وسيات جاي روزان. قوم السمود على يات جاي نيوليثيك ددان ليهيان أمياد یا ییٚمہِ ساتہٕ رومن ایمپایر تِہنٛز حکوٗمتَس تِہُنٛد تہِ چھُ وَننہٕ یِوان کہِ تِم تہِ چھِ یَتھ جایہِ روٗدمٕتۍ. بہرحال مُسلمانَن خٲطرٕ یُس مشہوٗر چھُ سُہ چھُ یہِ کہِ صالح علیہ السلام تِہُنٛد قوم روٗد ییٚتٮ۪تھ چوٗنٛکہِ تِمن منٛز ٲسۍ مُختٔلِف خرافات توحیٖدَس منٛز اوس تِمن بِگاڑ. تَمہِ کِنۍ آو پَتہٕ تِمن رۄبہٕ سُنٛد عذاب چوٗنٛکہِ تِمو مون نہٕ ییٚمہِ سُنٛد صالح علیہ السلام تِہُنٛد مون نہٕ تِمو کینٛہہ تہٕ تِمن آو پَتہٕ رۄبہٕ سُنٛد عذاب. ییٚمہِ ساتہٕ تِمن صالح علیہ السلام دیٖنٕچ دعوت ٲسۍ دِوان تہٕ تِمو کوٚر غالباً اکھ مُطالبہٕ کہِ کانٛہہ معجزٕ گوٚژھ گژھُن. پَتہٕ گوٚو ییٚتھۍ وادی اَندر اکھ معجزٕ کہِ پہاڑ منٛز درٛاے اکھ اوٗنٛٹِنۍ ییٚمِس زَن قۄرانَس منٛز ناو چھُ ناقۃ اللہ یعنی رۄبہٕ سٕنٛز اوٗنٛٹِنۍ چوٗنٛکہِ سۄ ٲس رۄبہٕ سٕنٛدِ طرفہٕ. پَتہٕ اوس تِمن رۄبہٕ سُنٛد حُکُم أمِس اوٗنٛٹنِس سۭتۍ کٔرۍزیو نہٕ کِہیٖنۍ أمِس دیٖزیو کھٮ۪نہٕ تہِ چٮ۪نہٕ. مگر تِم ٲسۍ واریاہ سرکش یِم زَن قومِ سموٗد اوس تِم ٲسۍ سرکش. تِمو واتنو تٔمِس اوٗنٛٹنہِ نۄقصان یعنی تِمو ژَچہِ تٔمِس زنٛگہٕ. ییٚلہِ نہٕ یِم پنٛنِس سرکٔشی سۭتۍ پٮ۪ٹھ باز آے کینٛہہ تَمہِ پَتہٕ آو یِمن رۄبہٕ سُنٛد عذاب. یِم گٔے ییٚتی ہلاک ییٚتھۍ وادی منٛز. ییٚتھۍ جایہِ مُتعلِق چھُ یِوان وَننہٕ کہِ یِمن جاین گژھِ نہٕ یُن کینٛہہ. البتہ یُس یِیہِ غالباً گژھِ سُہ آسُن یا یہِ وَدان یا گژھِ یُن نصیٖحت رَٹنہٕ خٲطرٕ. واللہ عالم. قومِ سموٗد تِمن مُتعلِق چھُ غالباً یِوان وَننہٕ کہِ تِم ٲسۍ ٹیکنِکٔلی واریاہ ساوُنٛڈ کیازِ یِم تِہنٛدۍ مکان چھِ ییٚتہِ تہٕ یِم چھِ واریاہ بہتر. نقشہٕ نِگٲری منٛز چھِ تِم واریاہ بہتر ٲسۍمٕتۍ. برعکس تبوٗکَس منٛز چھُ شعیب علیہ السلام تِہُنٛد قوم یُس زَن وَننہٕ چھُ یِوان مدین شعیب تہٕ تَتہِ چھِنہٕ ییٖژاہ کٲریگٔری کینٛہہ یعنی تِم چھِنہٕ یوٗت ٹیکنِکٔلی چھِ تِم ساوُنٛڈ ٲسۍمٕتۍ کینٛہہ. یعنی تِہنٛدۍ مکان تہِ چھِ لۄکٕٹۍ ڈِزاین تہِ چھُنہٕ کینٛہہ یِتھ پٲٹھۍ یَتھ جایہِ چھُ. یا بیٛاکھ یُس زَن مرکز چھُ اوسمُت یِمن نٮ۪باتِین سُہ گوٚو اُردُنَس منٛز جارڈنَس منٛز پیٹرا یُس زَن 7 وَنڈٲرٕس آف وٲلڈ تَتھ منٛز چھِ تَمِچ جاے. یعنی یِم زَن دُنہِکۍ 7 عجوٗب چھِ تَتھ منٛز چھُ یِوان سُہ پیٹرا تَتہِ تہِ چھِ یِمے پہاڑ تِمن منٛز چھِ یِتھَے پٲٹھۍ بِلڈِنٛگ مگر تِہنٛز یۄس زَن ڈِزاین چھِ کٲریگٔری چھِ سُہ چھُ واریاہ واریاہ بہتر. ییٚمہِ نِش تہِ تہٕ مدین شعیب نِش گٔیو أسۍ تہِ تہٕ ییٚمہِ نِش تہِ سُہ واریاہ واریاہ اعلیٰ. یُس زَن نباتِین چھِ ٲسۍمٕتۍ یَتھ جایہِ روزان تِم چھِ ٲسۍمٕتۍ یُس زَن یِم پہاڑن منٛز چھِ تُہۍ وٕچھان یِم گۄپھٕ چھُو تُہۍ وٕچھو تُہۍ تہٕ تِم چھِنہٕ ٲسۍمٕتۍ یِمن منٛز روزان کینٛہہ بٔلکہِ تِم چھِ ٲسۍمٕتۍ یِمن منٛز دفن کران. تِم چھِ ٲسۍمٕتۍ سمجھان زِ اگر أسۍ اَتھ گۄپھِ منٛز دفن کرو یا یُس زَن تِم پہاڑس منٛز یہِ قبر چھِ کھنان اگر اَتھ منٛز دفن کران یعنی یہِ ہسا چھُ أمِس مَیتہٕ سٕنٛدِ خٲطرٕ بہتر. غالباً اَمہِ سۭتۍ مہ واتہِ یہِ جنتس. بہرحال تُہۍ وٕچھِو یہِ ویٖڈیو بیٚیہِ ییٚمِس مٔزیٖد اَتھ مُتعلِق آسہِ پَرُن بہٕ کَرٕ لِنک تہِ شِیر. تُہۍ وٕچھِو ڈِسکرِپشن سُہ پَرِ اَتھ مُتعلِق کہِ کٕم چھِ ٲسۍمٕتۍ روزان تہٕ تِہُنٛد کلچر کیاہ چھُ اوسمُت وغیرہ وغیرہ. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ.
مرحبا بكم في رحلة عبر الزمن في موقع الحج والمعروف أيضا باسم مدائن صالح أول موقع سعودي ينضم إلى منظمة التراث العالمي يونسكو عام 2008.
Welcome to a journey through time in Hegra, also known as Madain Saleh, that in 2008 became Saudi Arabia's first ever UNESCO World Heritage Site.
تبلغ مساحة الموقع حوالي 52 هكتارا.
The site is approximately 52 hectares in size.
تعتبر الحجر موقعا استراتيجيا للاستيطان لما فيها من مقومات الحياة من وفرة المياه والأرض الخصبة، إضافة إلى كونها نقطة توقف للمسافرين لآلاف السنين، ونقطة ربط بين الشعوب والثقافات الأخرى، فهي مفترق طرق الرئيس على طرق التجارة القديمة التي نقلت البخور والتوابل والسلع القيمة الأخرى من جنوب الجزيرة العربية إلى موانئ البحر الأبيض المتوسط، فضلا عن استمرارها برا إلى بلاد ما بين النهرين.
Hegra is considered as a strategic site for settlement due to life necessities such as plentiful water and fertile soil. Furthermore, it has been a significant stopping point for travelers for millennia and connecting peoples and cultures. It was a key crossroads on ancient trading routes which carried incense, spices, and other valuable commodities from southern Arabia to Mediterranean ports, as well as continuing overland to Mesopotamia.
أهم الحضارات التي استقرت في الموقع الحضارة النبطية، وتعتبر مدينة الحجر إحدى أهم المدن النبطية، وذلك بسبب موقعها الاستراتيجي وإبداع ومهارة النبطيين الذين أنشأوا الحجر منذ أكثر من 2000 عام، وكان ذلك تقريبا في نفس الوقت الذي تم فيه بناء سور الصين العظيم، كما تم أيضا تنصيب أول إمبراطور للإمبراطورية الرومانية القديمة.
One of the magnificent civilizations that lived here is the Nabatean civilization. Hegra was one of the most important cities in the Nabatean kingdom. It thrived as a result of its strategic location on ancient trading routes and as a result of the skill and ingenuity of the Nabatean people. The city of Hegra was created by Nabatean inhabitants over 2,000 years ago, around the same time that the Great Wall of China was first constructed and the Roman Empire appointed its first emperor.
معنا تستمتعون في الرحلة بمشاهدة المناظر الجميلة، كما تستمعون إلى قصص التراث من الحضارات القديمة. كذلك توثقون اللحظات المميزة خلال رحلتكم باللقطات التذكارية الجميلة، ولكن نظرا لأهمية تراثنا العريق وللحفاظ عليه لأجيالنا القادمة لا بد من الالتزام بالتعليمات التالية.
Enjoy with us seeing beautiful landscapes and listening to stories of ancient civilizations, capturing your beautiful moments during your journey with us. But due to the importance of this heritage and its preservation, we hope you follow the following instructions.
مراعاة المواقع التراثية واحترام الآثار الثمينة وتقدير قيمتها التاريخية، وأيضا المحافظة على النقوش والكتابات بعدم لمسها أو الكتابة عليها أو تغييرها أو الإضرار بها بأي شكل من الأشكال. المحافظة على النظافة، وذلك بوضع القمامة في الحاويات المخصصة أو الاحتفاظ بها لحين الوصول للحاويات المخصصة أو عند مغادرة المواقع التراثية. كما يمنع التدخين أثناء الرحلة التراثية إلا في الأماكن المخصصة أو بعد المغادرة. عدم أخذ أي شيء من المواقع التراثية مهما كان، ويتضمن ذلك كل ما يكون على الأرض من الحصى والحجارة والرمل وما شابه. يمنع الدخول إلى المدافن. ولنتذكر دائما القاعدة الذهبية: لا نلتقط إلا الصور ولا نترك إلا آثار أقدامنا.
Respect the antiquities and heritage sites and their archaeological value. Don't climb, mark or damage in any way. Place your litter in a trash bin or take the trash with you until it can be disposed of in a trash bin or removed from the heritage site. Only smoke in the designated smoking areas or after exiting the heritage sites. Refrain from taking anything from the heritage sites, including anything that's on the ground. It's not allowed for anyone to enter tombs. Always remember, take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but Jabal Iflib and the D1 area.
Right.
So I am your Rawi, your storyteller. A Rawi is, let's say, the same storyteller, but it's a fancy title we have, which is a good thing you have in this kind of weather. So in today's journey, we will explain or we will discover together the Nepalian civilization. So basically we will travel back in time 2,200 years in a journey through time to know more and more about the site, or the first site registered in the UNESCO in Saudi Arabia in 2008. During that journey, we will be escorted with our colleagues as a ranger from the Royal Commission. Before we start, I would just like to mention the site we are going to visit. So we will visit 4 sites. This is the first site, which is the religious area basically. And second, the famous name, the Women's Palace. And after that, the unique palace, let's say the most famous sites or the most famous facade we have in Hegra. And finally, we end up with the Red Palace. Hopefully you will enjoy your time. Meanwhile, our friends, they will introduce themselves and they will tell the rules. And after that, we will start the mountain. But we are going to discover first the religious area. In this area, the Nepalian used to be Begans. To understand more about them, the Nepalian used to be Bedouins. Nomadic, lived in the desert, and they was the best who survived there by knowing where they can find the underground water, digging wells to help them to survive more and more. And with that, more of the caravans, travelers, pilgrims, they found a way or a place to go there or to go to in the desert to drink from, which is those tribes. So with that, they collected more money by taxes or by selling or buying stuff. For example, either farming or honey from the mountain, and then you will be at church. So that's why they became close from the Egyptian and the Mesopotamian. They started better to be stronger, just like the old civilization. They started to grow up there, and by a time.
یتھ جایہِ دٔچھنہِ سایڈٕ یۄس یہِ گُفہِ چھِ کھٔنِتھ پہاڑس منٛز اَتھ جایہِ چھِ ٲسمٕتۍ تَمہِ وقتہٕ میٖٹِنٛگ کران تہٕ یۄس زن بٕتھِ چھِ کَنٮ۪ن درمیان دۄن پہاڑن درمیان یۄس یہِ گلی چھِ یہِ چھِ اَمہِ سایڈٕ چھِ تِم ٲسمٕتۍ عبادت کران.
Remember, as I mentioned in the beginning, they was pagans. So as a pagan mythology, the highest position are the closest to the gods and the most cleanest. That's why they chose this site to be or to play that. So here in this part, it's the D1. D1 is the gathering or majlis, as we say. So here where they meet as a very important persons like the royal head of the tribes, head of the armies, commanders, etc. And discuss political or even religious things. And in front of it, you have the niches. We could go further inside if you like to go. So the D1, it's actually carved 8 meter high, 9 width, and 12 meter from inside. It's all with a chisel and a hammer. All what you are going to see today, it's with a chisel and a hammer only. So those are the chairs, of course, where they can sit. So basically there is scientists who say they lay down like Romans, and some say no, they sit down just like us do. You know how we sit, Zara?
Crossly.
Exactly. For those who don't know, we sit like this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we shut between us. So either they was facing each other or they were just next to each other, and it's okay to lay down if you like so. So with that, of course, there is like thinking how they was living their life as a daily basic, what tools they used, and of course they used to drink back in days, so they have a lot of parties. So imagine it was really noisy here. So in the front of it you have the niches. Those niches, it's for praying for gods, basically. It's divided to the deities, or to the gods. So this one, for example, it's an empty one. It's for the visitors. Of course, when you have a visitor, you are in a crossroads, so you have a lot of travelers, a lot of religion. The trade routes, it's like the vents in the body, it's dividing the water. The trade routes also transport in the language, tradition, gods, a lot of things. Yeah. If it wasn't with the trade routes, we're probably gonna eat like with no salt. You know what I mean? With no pepper, because the roots, the trade, the generation, that connection, that's what built the communities we see today. So with that, of course, when you travel, you imagine, you come here, you want to pray to your God. So the Nepathian provided some empty places where you can come, take your God, and put it here, practice your religion, and then you can take it and complete your journey. So they was more, let's say, friendly with most of the civilization around them, and that's what probably made them flourish or grow up more and more. Of course, Hegra wasn't the only city, Hatra wasn't the only city. They have major cities. They have Busra in south of Syria. There is two Busra in the Arabian Peninsula. There is one in Iraq, and we don't mean that. That was for the Babylonian civilization. We want Busra, the one in Syria. So that was for the Nepathian, and they have the mother of the camel, north of Jordan, Hatra, the capital city, definitely, and also Hegra as one of the major cities, and the southern borders. So they have major cities, but there is some cities unknown for the scientists, for example. One, it's 200 kilometer northeast to the Red Sea. It's called Al-Bida, or Madain Shu'aib. Shu'aib, it's a prophet in the Islamic religion. He's the one who married his daughter to Moses, the prophet of Egypt. Yeah. So as you can see, the Nepathian also lived again in the places that used to have civilization. Hegra wasn't, let's say, inhabited by Nepathian only. Before it was the Danite and Lehinite. And this is what the inscription in most of the mountains we find speaking about. So let's go further inside. I want to show you the view. It's the best thing, like so. And please, if you have any questions, just throw it. Don't worry, okay? I love my history, actually, and I'm a little passionate about it. So when I speak, I just swim in my mind. So as you can see here, this one, the Arab used to worship three gods, or three female gods, and they say they are the daughters of our God. Allah today. Astaghfirullah. God forbid. This is a no-no subject around kids. So basically they used to worship them. So Lat, Manat and Uzza, it's female gods. Most of the gods that the Arab used to worship was female, basically. So why they look square? Because Mecca was the first religion, came to the Arabian Peninsula by Abraham, peace be upon him. And who built it? Abraham and his son Ishmael. we as Arab and Isaac as Jews. So as you can see, with the Arab mentality, when they started to go back to pagans, they still stick with the first religion as building. So even their gods was used to be square. I have a picture on my phone. Can I show it to you?
Yeah.
I told you I'm a little bit of assumptions. So if we see here, this is Uzza, okay? This is it. But here it's just like with no dots, with no like details, as you can see. This is the hair of the woman, and you can see some of the things that it was at their gods, and even the statues, we still wear the same things. So if you went to Dadan and Lihyan, you know, if you go to Dadan and Lihyan, you will see statues there wearing like these things. So Arabs till today, they still stick in some like close cultural things. For example, here in the front of it, you have one of the niches have an Aramaic inscription at the top. The language of the Arab in the past, in the time of the Nabatean, when they started to create those cities, they used the Aramaic. In the beginning, they used the Samist. But why Aramaic started to spread more? First, you have religion. Religion push it more. You have the message of Moses, Judaism. You have the message of Jesus, Christianity. So it's more Aramaic. So that pushed the Aramaic to be more global language, like the English today. So at that time, you want to sell by, you want to be more famous, you need to build your language first. And that's why they took the Aramaic, since it's also Aramaic, a close one from us. The Nabatean don't pronounce vowels. The vowels A, U, I, we don't pronounce them in the past. So Aramaic doesn't have vowels. So it's fit, like it's like designed for us. And with that they started to take it. Here this inscription is speaking about a person called Shakur. So we know some of the names. So Shakur came from Husra, the one in Syria again, and he built a place for his god to be worshipped. A'ra, even the name of the god we know. And it's also represented the word mosque, which means Arab know that the mosque is the place where you put your head to pray to God. And also one of the gods, one of the kings' name, Rabi'il II is the last king. So we know the last king, Rabi'il II, he was like a spoiled king. It's a long story. So as you can see, their gods, or the majority of the people or the tribes around them, have different gods. And then Nabatean also used to worship the sun as a main god. The symbol was the falcon. Do you know why the head is scratched? Okay, so Arab don't like statues in the past when they was strict in religion, like ISIS. Okay, so what the ISIS first done when they controlled like Syria and Iraq is they destroyed statues. They destroyed the heritage sites. They don't like this. Although, if they understand their religion more, the religion say, basically we cannot create things that they already created in our hands. What has been done by the hands of the people before us have no guilt on us. It's okay, you can go there and enjoy things. That's why we can find some of the niches have actually statues like hidden on this mountain, still today. So it's good, some of them are survived. So when you see this like statues destroyed or things, just put in mind probably it's religious purposes. Okay, let's continue. That's our Arabic when it was a baby. So how the Aramaic became Arabic like this, and how the Arabic became like we write today. Basically, It's a language test. It's a language lesson. Okay. Can I write for you? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. I told you I'm a little passionate, so bear with me. So the S used to be written in the Aramaic like this. Okay. This is the S only. And this word is bis. Now, there is no A. S, L, and M. Bis, salam. And then they started to connect them and add more A, and then they turned the M like this, long. But as you can see, let's take the S first. The S, we used to be like this in the early Islamic time. They start to write it like this, and today we write it like this. So it's still the process, you can see it in the Aramaic. If you just study the language itself and how the pattern of the alphabet it's written, you can find the process of the development. So with that, they start to connect the alphabets, the Arab, because when the Roman conquered Hijra, yes, they used to be here, so it's registered as an Arabian Roman land. So the Roman soldiers can protect the caravan. There is no like fighting, it has to be like that or else it will be fighting. So, and when they left, okay, the Aramaic started to be lost. The tribes wanted to write like agreement between each other, they wanted to write rules, they wanted to educate themselves, to be in the head of the other civilization around them. And they couldn't find the language, so they head back to the Nabatean. They took the alphabet, the Aramaic, and they started to develop it by adding the A, connecting the alphabets, which became this Arabic. But it wasn't dotted. There's no dots. So, in the Islamic time, in the Umayyad time, Abdul Malik bin Marwan, he was one of the strongest Umayyad caliphate. So he said, there is a lot of foreign we want to trade with, they want to study, to learn the language, or there's a lot of people coming to Islam from Persia, from the West. So we want to develop the language also, because we have more alphabets look like each other, like S, Sin, Shin. S, S, this is with the no dots. But the only difference, this is a 3 dots. It's became Shin, which is Is and S. So you see, the only difference is dots. So they said it is difficult for them to know the difference. Probably pronounced the vowel wrong. So they start to put the dots, and that's became the Arabic today. I know it's a long lesson, but we will be fast in the next slides. Okay? Please now, enjoy, take photo, look to the view. It's angle that it has carved in, which is it's well protected from the winds. And that's why you can still see where the hammer is on the different, or we have not only historical for the Muslim and the Arab, especially Muslim, because there was a message here, there was a prophet. Actually, the site is called after a prophet, believed. Okay, I will tell you why believed. There is a history here represented in the Holy Quran, story about the prophet has a miracle, his own miracle. So his miracle was a huge camel. Actually, the mountain gave him birth for that camel in front of the people who didn't believe him. And with that, they started to believe. But by time, they killed that camel. And with that, God punished them by first, an angel came from the sky and start to yell and take all of their soul. Second, there's an earthquake, so basically the ground starts to shake and bury all the bodies. So the story happened in Hebrew. A lot of people actually see like it's kind of a curse land. Yes? So they say it's not a good actually choice to go with it. Actually, there is more purposes to go with it, not to not go with it. The reason is God tells us also in the Holy Quran, قل سيروا في الأرض فانظروا كيف كان عاقبة which means go and walk around and see by yourself what have I done for those who didn't believe before you. So it's telling us, go and see. So when you don't do, you mean you're doing the opposite. So the most of the people who believe in that, they believe they didn't understand more of the hadith of the Prophet, because the Prophet was actually going on a battle of Tabuk, and he was walking fast, and he told to the people, don't go there only if you are crying. Yeah. So crying, it's mean taking the lesson. It's similar to the verse in the Holy Quran. You go there and take the lesson. So a part of that, yes, it's the site that the story has, and also the name. It's actually not Saleh. There is a caliphate in the Abbasiyya time called Saleh. So the site turned to his name. But the most famous story is the Prophet, so it's connected to the name. So basically, it happened.
So we can say people of Saleh alayhi salam, they used to live here.
They used to live, but what we are going to see today, it's similar to an example I will give. Let's say after 3,000 years, there's people came and start to see our buildings today here in Al-Ula. They're gonna say those are belong to the Thamudic, or it's more like no, the Thamudic lived here, but there is an advanced people who lived there.
Right.
It's similar what we are going to see today. The tombs that we are going to see, it's actually for Napati. It's a group of people, nomadic people, who turned and lived again the same as the Thamudic before, but instead living in the caves, they use them as graves. Let's go and see them. We're gonna see what
Thank you.
now. We're gonna go inside of them. I started a friend. Oh, you started? Yeah, I started. Yeah, the same as Arabic. You have vowels between women.
Chicken you pahadi she one yawan sari khot bud kabar hasa she yahay.
What you see from the advertise, the
Unkesan
pictures,
yat areas mein zat it pat pahad mein kabar she sari khot bud. Onan hijra.
Locally we call it the unique palace. It's actually belongs to a commander in the army. You have to know, in order to own a facade, you must have a lot of money. Big pockets mean big home or big tomb. Similar as today, the word, it's always on benefit of bank, like how much you have. So as you can see, this facade, it's belonged to the commander. We know his name, Lahyan son of Koza, from the certificate, which we can see the square at the top of the falcon, as usually, decapitated the head, and for the same reason. So the design, it's similar to the most of what we saw as stairs, corniche, but the only difference here that this tomb never been used. Yes, you heard me right. If you look to the bottom of it, it's not smooth like the rest of the facade at the top, and that's give you a small idea that they probably stopped working here. You're totally right. You see the square, look like chairs at the front? This is how they break the stones. So basically they start from top to down. All the tombs started to be carved from the top, ended at the down. Let's imagine we are at the top of the mountain now, okay? And this is the edge. Be careful, don't fall down. So first thing we need to do, we need to put lines on the edge of the stone, okay? As you can see the process there at the bottom. And then we start carving those lines, creating an empty place to put wood on it, and then spilling water in the top of the wood, which making the wood absorb the water and start to expand. And that will break the stones. With that, you can remove the large stones that broken, go lower and start the same process, and with that you will end up here. So they stopped the work in here, and that's telling us they didn't receive money probably, or the owner probably died at the battlefield, which gave us the same result. They didn't receive money.
Okay.
So they stopped, of course. How they worked, the scientists believe they divide the stone as squares between each other as a 2 or 3 carvest squares. So this is the facade, or this is the stone. You want the facade, let's divide it as squares first, and each square will have details that will take you $40. It's an example. So each details we will have work on it, or square we will have work on it, it will pay more. At the middle, if you look to the stairs, it doesn't have any details. That's $4. Is it okay? You can pay that? Okay, let's start work. And they divide the work between them and they start. It's similar to the day. So with that, they finished the work on the facade. So, of course, the Nepalian civilization ended at the 1st century AD. So they believe, BC. They believe that the Roman Trajan, the Roman emperor Traiano, registered the Arabian land as an Arabian Roman land, as a Nepalian kingdom, in order to send his army to protect the caravans. And with that, the Nepal started to be a kingdom, and they start to be an allies to the Romans, naming them as like followers of the Romans. So here we have reached the end of our journey. Really thank you all on behalf of me and my colleagues as a ranger. It was a truly honor. Thank you so much to be a little. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really honor. I know it was a little hot for you today, but although you really enjoyed. So take photo now. When you feel ready, next site we only gonna spend like 5 minutes. There's a You see this mountain? I want you to walk with me now. I will make you stand in a position where you will see a face, literally a face. Okay? Let's go down. We will have around 5 minutes here, okay? I will tell you the story, so when you go there, you already have the story. So, as I mentioned before, the rivers at the beginning, it was in the same period of time. When the stones or the huge muds that was already a little dry started to pump to the surface, the edges was a little soft. So the erosion, the winds and the rains, when it's come, it will start to eat the soft part of that huge mud, which will later on start to create you a pattern or a look. So here, created the face. In the other side, you have an elephant. In the north part, you have the cobra. A stone look like a cobra. And this group of mountains at the top, if if you go to the other part, there's a road. You will see, do you know Popeye the sailor man? The sailor man, an old cartoon? Yeah. This side is called the women's palace, where the women brag about their wealth. They was the richest at the kingdom. Yes, it's true. The women's in the past used to be more richer than the male. They used to have more money. There's a reason for it. The male usually work at the caravans, traveling, or at the army, yeah, or in the borders, or protected the pilgrims. We can walk. It's okay, please. So with that, not a lot of male will stay at the kingdom to serve or to get benefits from the trade. Who will do that part? The women's. They stay at the cities and they meet the caravans and deal with them. If the husband dies during his journey, at least he will make sure that he will be retrieved and buried in his own tomb. And that's why most of the tombs, or the fancy ones we see here in this stone, it's belong to women's, or let's say presented by the woman's name. For example, the first one, it's carved by the wife of Eid, son of Ubadah, to her husband, and their generation after them. It's prohibited to give, take, or sell anything from this tomb, and whoever do that, he will be cursed with Medusa. Don't worry, it's their belief. So what you see in front of us, what I just told you, you can find it as an Aramaic inscription at the square in the top of the entrance, which is the statue of the eagle with no head. You see it? There's a square in the top of it, having that inscription and explaining what I just say is the name of the person, his generations, and the curse. The curse itself, you can choose as your owner. Are you familiar with Medusa? You can choose it as a guardian, as a triangle. If you like Humbaba, which is another god, you can put it, you can see it at the other tomb, which is the tomb of the doctor. The architect itself, it actually came from several civilizations. So first, you have the stairs. If you are familiar with Led Zeppelin song, Stairway to Heaven, you know it? That's it, the stairs at the top. Then the corniche beneath it, it's actually an influence from the Egyptians. And then the columns or the pillars are an influence from, or their own influence, but it's also took from the Roman. And finally the entrance, the triangles, it's all Greek, like the Parthenon temple at Athena, which is built around 5th century BC. So let's keep moving. We want to catch the shades. Don't worry, the other side has Kahlan, or Kahlan, it's actually the doctor means. So his name, son of Wa'il, and his tomb is actually protected by Humbaba. Humbaba is actually mentioning Gilgamesh's story, if you are familiar with it. Yeah. So the falcon, it's the sun, the highest god they have. The jars, it's the goddess of the water. The face with the snake, it's the protector of this tomb or the curse, which is Humbaba. And the lotus flower are a symbol. There's a lot of stuff. Okay. There's a lot of wildlife, and it's the summer. I will show you.
Excuse me.
That's why I said. Well, be careful of some of them. As you can see.
Oh my goodness.
It is. This is the same guy who caught this one.
Baba, मेरे खेलूं?
Yeah. We all never I grow up at the desert. I will never do that. This is very
No.
scared of it.
खेलने की जगह नहीं है जा खेलने की जगह नहीं है
मिट्टी पानी ये मिट्टी है रुकेंगे
बैठो खेलो इधर बैठो खेलो इधर
It's rarely seen, but yeah. Rarely seen, but yeah. So we believe that this kind of room, the ones that here, this is what they used before. But when the
Saib, I want to
Nabatean
ask
came,
you something.
they're not pretty sure. Are they Buddhic or are they dated to a period of time before the Nabatean for the locals? It's the same system. So when we go inside now, you can see there is another room used to be at the top. So it's reused. This one is reused. When we go inside, you will see the room at the top.
like this they put dead body here
Yeah. So you see this one? This is used to be a different room, and this room, where we are standing now, it wasn't actually there. So when the Nabatean came, they started to expand the old one, creating the ones we are here in it now, and use it as tombs. Which is the clues that give us that ideas? First of all, if we look to the technique of carving, the room at the top was totally different. It was not in. Here it was with chisel. So there was with the basalt stone, totally different period of time, here with chisels. So the technique was totally different. Also, the colors. At the top is a little white, at the bottom it's a little red. That means this is more recent, and even down there, if you look, it's more white. And the ones at the top is older, because you have more rains, more erosion, water filled here because of the canals, and eat most of the oxide of the island. The sandstones like sponge, literally. The waters, when the room here actually gets water, the stones drink the water is inside and cold the mountain more. That's why you feel more cold than the outside. So the Nabatean, even their wells, when they don their wells, they don them in a way when it's go all thing, but when you go down, you must have a mountain down at the down earth, and when you go there, you make like a basin. It's more like an aquifer. You know aquifer? Yes. So it's more like it. So it will be like big, and then the door, it's a well. This is the Nabatean well. The end must be inside of a mountain. to drink the water and preserve it more and more in time. When it became less, the mountain gives you more water because it has more places, the rains, etc. So here, from inside, Ganapatian used to have this room as graves. All the graves of Ganapatian are similar to this one here. All of them. We have a saying. We say, "Min barra Allah Allah, min jua Allah Allah." It's a famous saying, which means from outside it's amazing, from inside God knows. So basically, you have good faces, two faces. One of them is good, the other one is not good. So the Ganapatian really cared of the outside, but from inside, they didn't care. There is no decoration, there is no painting, there is no inscription like the Egyptians, speaking about the achievement, the names, for example, etc. The only inscription you find, it's at the certificates, and the only decoration you find is outside. Inside, it has shelves. Those are for one person, graves for one person. If you have several deceased person in war, water floods, disease, etc., then they use the silver graves, which is over here. It's more deeper at the ground, which you can see in the other tombs. And with that, they can put more than one. This one we buried because we wanted our visitors to go inside and see more tombs. The other one, we couldn't do the same to them because it's still also a home for animals for them. You can see today, everything we saw today, it's actually used to be revealed since forever. They left the sites here, the site used to be open. So a lot of travelers, pilgrims used to come all around. Locals also reuse those tombs by looting them. You have your neighbors, the Egyptian, they bury golds with them. So when travelers come through here, they say, yeah, probably there's a gold there. So by looting the tombs here, we reached today as a generation with the tombs in this condition. No bones, nothing. But in 2013, while the scientists used to be excavated and inhabited area or the settlement area, which is in front of this area, in front of these tombs, they noticed something. One of the mountains used to be covered with the sand, so the rains moved the sand, revealing stairs. What does that mean? There's a tomb. So they moved the sand, discovering a closed tomb, which used to have 80 skeletons. And all of them today are studied at King's University, etc., and the libraries. And one of them are shown today at, I think it's in Italy the next season. Because last year was at China. I did that. We done it at Beijing, at the Forbidden City. It was an amazing journey for me. So probably next year it will be at Italy. Yes, so if you want to see the skeletons, just look where are they. But I promise you they will come back again when we will have a appropriate museum. Yeah. So enjoy.
Last comment,